All right, let's do this real quick. I got 4 chances to get a legendary equipment for someone I'm using. 260 pieces. So we'll craft 2 at a time. Farias, is that Farias? Farias' arrow? Okay, maybe I'll build him, but that's not what I want. And no, I can't. It's so hard to get the pieces. I don't. Y'all, how you doing? By special request, I have been asked to give my opinion on Aman, the new tanker. Now, I originally said I am not going to review Aman, and so I will start this video by saying no, this is not a review, this is not a guide, this is not a showcase. This is me objectively reading his skills and his card effects, exclusive equipment effects, some of the reviews, and we'll preview him and see what we think about it. But until we've used him, you know, max and have a lot of experience with him, this is all just pretty much speculation. So with that out of the way, let's start with the abilities. Kitchen Knife inflicts damage to the enemy by 100% of the attack and bleeds the enemy for 2 turns with a 50% chance. Whenever you skill this up, it inflicts bonus damage by up to 20% of the enemy's current HP. So that's pretty cool. Again, the bonus damage can exceed Aman's attack. That's really good for like bosses with really high. So this is like a boss killing attack right here. You'll not only be bleeding the boss or whoever you're attacking for however much your bleed is doing at the time, but you'll also be doing bonus damage based off their max HP. As long as you have a good amount of attack, you can get some pretty good bonus damage on that as well. So that'll be really good for raid boss. Next is the Hand of Exploitation. Inflicts damage to the enemies by 96% of the attack and brings them towards you, and absorbs HP by up to 80% of the damage dealt to the enemy. So this is kind of like Darcia's AoE cone attack, except it says it pulls them in. It also specifies enemies with implying that it pulls multiple enemies. So that might be cool. How Ziv's third skill groups a bunch of enemies. This could also, you know, crowd control a bunch of enemies, potentially by what the text says, and absorb the damage that he's dealing to the enemy. So that's pretty cool. And last, Violent Charge. Charges toward the enemy, inflicting damage by 135% of the attack and stuns the enemy for 1 turn with a 50% chance. Removes the immovable effect granted on you, inflicts additional damage equal to the distance you charge, and deals 33% of the attack as damage to enemies in the path and knocks them back. It increases the stun chance whenever you skill this up. So that's a lot to take in. Okay, first of all, 135% of the attack is not that bad. Stunning is a very, very good debuff. On top of that, it says additional damage equal to the distance you charge, and 33% of the attack as damage to the enemies in the path. So you could potentially do a lot of damage with this skill. We're gonna have to see it in action before we make any major decisions. Now, 135% isn't that bad of a multiplier, but it's not great. So I think all of the utility poured into this attack, plus it actually having an area of effect in his line of charge, is probably what's going to make that the most useful. We'll have to see how that works out in the simulator. And last is going to be his rage skill, Slaughter. Inflicts damage to the enemies by 31% of the attack 2 times and bleeds the enemy for 2 turns with a 50% chance, and recovers HP by up to 8% per enemy inflicted. So this is an AoE. The multiplier is low, but it's mostly to put bleed on the enemy and recover his HP, I guess. I feel like if it was me and I was pushing this character into the game, this Violent Charge would be the rage skill, and this Slaughter would just be the third skill. That seems underwhelming to me, but again, we have not seen him fully built or in action, so I can't know for sure. It just feels to me like that's a little bit backwards. Now this one seems to be controversial. Strong regen power. Whenever you get his card, it recovers the HP by 50% of your total HP whenever your turn ends. So if it recovers your HP whenever your turn ends, if you pair it with the card that recovers HP whenever your turn begins, you could essentially be recovering 22% of your total HP every turn. On top of that, you could also be recovering HP with his attacks. He has 2 attacks that recover his own HP. So if you built him like a bruiser, like with a lot of defenses and also a lot of attack, he could potentially be really scary in arena, now that I'm thinking about that. Plus, for melee units, immovable is the bane of their existence, but this third skill says that it removes immovable. So that could potentially be really, really good. We'll have to see that. And the exclusive equipment brings nearby enemies to you when using Slaughter. Which one was that? Okay, so the ultimate. So you basically have 2 skills that bring enemies towards you as well. He's like, if he's on the battlefield and he's like using his skills, he's like, you're coming to me, you get over here. And he pulls all of the enemies towards him, and then he starts recovering his HP by attacking them. And then third skill, he's just like, get out of the way, and just knocks them all. You know, this dude seems really interesting. Very cool. I'm kind of a fan from just what I've seen. But again, I need somebody who has a fully built one to tell me if he's actually as good as I think he is. Whenever we look at his ability badges, we see crit resistance, so he's going to be crits are going to be less effective, pen resistance, so penetration is going to be less effective, and increased recovery. So he can potentially recover even more HP based on his abilities. I wouldn't be surprised if this guy was like one of those solo units. Like how Trevor can solo teams if he has looting, I wonder if this guy could solo teams. Something else that I thought was pretty interesting, his collection effect is tanker defense up. So even if you're not using him, it might be useful to have him if you have a tanker, because as you increase his level, he'll increase the defense of all your other tankers. That's a unique collection effect. That's brand new. So that's interesting as well. So with the reviews, usually I debunk reviews by being like, oh, he just came out. No one really knows anything about him. But I don't know anything about him, so we're gonna have to take what we see for granted. So let's get to reviews that actually tell us some stuff. Good CC and survivability, okay. Pretty sick kit, can do reliable DPS with some pretty insane self-sustainability. HP percent based attack makes him good against bosses. Okay, that's what I said too. Plays like Butcher, who cares? Has a bugged skill card right now, so I would wait on pulling him until this is fixed. Okay, I actually did hear that. So his skill card that recovers HP whenever his turn ends doesn't work. Now, it could be that just doesn't work on ×4, because whenever they put ×4 into the game, it bugged a lot of skills. So they are going to work on that, but yeah, that's a pretty big one. That's a pretty important thing to not work. So let's just go ahead and get into the preview and see what we can see about him. I don't want to spend too much time on the reviews because it's none of my business whether he's good or bad or not, because I don't have him. So he has a pretty good first skill range. Look at that range on that first skill. That's pretty sick. And it's a projectile too. So even if you have a movable, this first skill is a projectile. I see what that review meant by Dr. Mundo. I get it now. Oh, the bleed animation too. Holy cow, that's a pretty good range. That's pretty, just for being base, that's pretty good. Let's see about this. Oh, the cone is huge. The cone is huge. Did you see? This is base. So if I was all the way over here, I could still, what? That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty good. Now let's see. First of all, we're gonna pass turn on third skill, get as far away as possible, and see how much it's going to mess with the people that are in the way. So it pushes them to the side by a pretty good margin. Now, and it stunned the first guy. Let's see if it'll push my ally out of the way. Am I even gonna be in range to use it? Nah, wait. Nah, I don't get to see how allies affect it because I can't move this guy. But hey, that was pretty cool. I liked how far it pushed the guys to the side too. He manhandles everybody. He's like, get over here, go over there. You're gonna do what I say to do. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see about this. This was the one that bleeds. That's it? Come on, man. Hold on, did it put on 2 stacks? Let's see. Yeah, okay, so it put on 2 stacks of bleed. That's pretty good. All right, I still think this one should be the ultimate. Look at that. That's crazy. His kit is so cool. I like him. He's a really good tanker. Okay, but this isn't the one we're supposed to be looking at. Anyways, let's go ahead and upgrade all of his skills, because this is the Aman we should be pushing to use if we actually had him built. So this is with everything maxed. Did it increase the range of this? I can't really tell. Well, I mean, it's still good. It does bonus damage whenever you upgrade it. So let's see about this. This will absorb HP now. So whenever he does that, it's going to absorb HP. It said based on the damage dealt. And again, since they're level 1, we can't really, we can't really determine how strong it's actually going to be, because these bots have like 1 defense and like 40 HP. Let's see about this. This increases the stun rate whenever you skill it up. So whenever you have a base Aman, it's not crazy different from having a fully built Aman, keeping in mind he does get a bunch of bonus stuff in his kit, but he essentially can do what you need him to do at both levels. Which one? It said that whenever you put on his equipment, this will pull in also. Yeah, that pulled in also. So hold on, how far away can we be for that to still work? Okay, so about at his first skill range, and then it'll pull them. Okay, I mean, I just feel like that and the rage skill, like maybe I don't know. I don't have him built. This is just me checking him out, but that's the end of the simulator. So I think he's pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. My brother has one that he's building. A lot of people are building him. Apparently he has a couple glitches right now, but pairing him with someone like Nadine, you know how Nadine will push someone over here and then knock someone over there, and then she immobilizes people, and she has cones too. You have Ziv who can control. If you have a bunch of these units that can control, that's pretty cool. I think he's cool. But anyways, I'm not going to get into whether he's good or bad. I'm not going to get into whether you should build him or not, because I don't have him built, so it's not any of my business. If you like him, if you know anything about him that like we can't see in the simulator, like for example, being able to interrupt people's rage skills, if he can use his pulls and stuff to interrupt rage skills, that would be awesome. If his I think his rage skill would interrupt rage skills because he pulls them in. So if he's able to do that, I need you guys to tell me in the comments, because I don't have him built. But other than that, that's gonna be it for me today, y'all. I'll see y'all later. Bye.